Yeah, hello, everybody.
Hello,
Thursday,
Stuart.
1 o'clock. It's time for Opposite Saxes. I was thinking
Good,
of
good. You were thinking
it.
about where you were, what day, and what show, right?
No, no,
Oh,
I got this. I got this. I
good.
mean,
You're a professional.
I'm lucky.
I'd say
And
you're a professional.
sometimes I do have to think, and sometimes like that the wrong thing comes out of my mouth. My head is saying this is Opposite Saxes, but my mouth says someone you should know or one of the other shows. But this
Well,
is Opposite Saxes.
yes, it is.
Yeah, she's Lauren and I'm Stuart.
Yeah, I didn't think about that as well.
Am
Are you still warm? I asked you earlier. Are you still warm?
I warm?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm
The weather
fine.
here is like up and down, and you
Well,
dress in the morning, but in the afternoon you're so warm.
well, that's
Ugh.
because when it's in the 40s and 50s overnight, you kind of have the heat on. Now today I switched to a combination on auto because it got up to 78 degrees or so, which means that really the air should kick in.
Right.
And then when it drops, the heat should kick in, and
Well, then no wonder
it's
I'm warm. Huh.
yeah, it's probably a little warmer in the house than
Yeah, it
normal,
is. Okay. Well, let's
or
go.
or maybe it's just my presence.
Honey, that very well could be because you know
I just I just
you're the one.
drive that temperature up.
You just flip my switch.
Pull your trigger.
That too. So, what
Oh,
are we talking about today?
oh, I was thinking about landmarks,
Right,
and
right. You mentioned that.
yeah, it was interesting, and I'll tell you why I was thinking about it. Because I subscribe to a service that sends me trivia questions every day. I get one or two of them every
Yeah,
day,
I know.
and I would have to say probably three-fourths of the time I get them right. It's you have four choices. One of them today is the one that I had today said, "Where is the only other place where there is an exact replica of the Parthenon that is in Athens, Greece?" It's located in the United States.
Where's there a Greece? And is there a Greece, Georgia?
No, 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 no. The Parthenon that you visit when you go
No,
to
no,
Athens,
I know.
Greece.
And I'm thinking, where's there another?
There's an exact replica of the Parthenon in Nashville, Tennessee, of all places.
Why?
I I
Oh,
don't.
it didn't. You didn't go into
It
see
just
what
said,
it was.
"Where is it?" And it said, had four choices, four locations. One was Mississippi, Tennessee, Oregon, whatever. Four choices, and of course I didn't know, so I guessed, but I never would have guessed Tennessee.
No, who would? I mean, and why don't they advertise that?
Well, anybody that's been to Nashville, maybe that is looking for places to visit other than the Ryman Auditorium, for the Grand Ole
Yeah,
Opry.
yeah, but I'm just surprised you don't see more ads about that.
Yeah, but I would imagine if there was a promo on TV for to visit Tennessee,
Right.
or
That's what I'm
visit
saying.
Nashville,
Why don't
it
they?
might show that. But
I would
I
see that.
never knew that,
Why
and
would?
it got me to thinking not only about around the world, because of course Europe and Asia are a lot older than the United States, but if I was to, there are known landmarks everywhere in the world, and if I was to say to you Paris, what would you say?
The Louvre or the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, those are major landmarks in
Right.
in
Or the bridge with the locks on it. And I don't know what they call that.
yeah, the I don't know, I don't either, but it is a landmark.
Yeah.
But probably the most publicized and best known landmark in Paris would be
The
the
Eiffel Tower.
Eiffel Tower, just like London,
Big Ben.
Big Ben, the Tower of London.
The
That's
Buckingham Palace.
Yeah. Well, I mean, any major city has got lots of uh, landmarks. For instance, our hometown of Chicago. What would you say?
Pizza. No.
That is a landmark. Deep, deep dish.
Yeah, no, the Chicago River, the baseball stadiums, the football
Well,
stadiums.
Buckingham Fountain or Willis Tower, which we
Oh,
still affectionately
that's
call
true.
Sears Tower.
Lakeshore Drive.
Yeah, Navy Pier.
Yeah,
Things like,
there's so
but
many.
San Francisco, you got cable cars.
Right.
Uh, you
And
could pick,
earthquakes.
yeah. I mean, here nearby where we live, Dallas. Dallas. When somebody mentions
Yeah.
Dallas, the first thing I think of is the what's the tower, the round tower, Renaissance Tower. You got Renaissance Tower, you got Dealey Plaza.
That's really, I think, what people think about.
You got Big Tex at the state fair
Right.
every year. So when you start to think about different cities, you think about those.
No, that's true. You're right. And I shouldn't say everybody, I take them for granted. And I'm sure a lot of people do.
Yeah.
You just don't think about it. But they're important landmarks, and the reasons behind the landmarks are also
And it's
can be very
it's
important.
reasons for
What
people
about
to go.
San Antonio?
Yeah, the river walk.
Well, but not the river, the Alamo.
Well, that's true too. See, there's usually more than one, unless it's a small town that specifically has that as its
right.
A draw.
When you started to say landmarks, that you want to talk about landmarks, I was thinking much smaller scale, like in this area. We've lived here 11 years, and I still have problems getting to certain suburbs and certain areas of Dallas, which is half an hour from us. And when I'm going, I'm picking out things like, oh, there's a Quick Mart, there's Dunkin' Donuts, there's a dress store. But now there's so many Quick Marts and so many donut stores, and so many dress stores.
You used to say it's just 3 doors down from Starbucks.
I can't use it anymore.
There's 3,000 Starbucks in this city.
So I was thinking more that way, but
no, and I guess that does qualify as a landmark. But I was just thinking in terms of when people think about going someplace,
vacations.
You want to go to Detroit, you want to go to 5 Mile Road, you want to go to Cobo Arena, things like that. When you mention Indianapolis, you got the Circle in downtown Indianapolis. You got the Speedway in Indianapolis. When you talk about Louisville, you got the racetrack.
Right.
So it's kind of fun to think of different cities and what those landmarks are, and then to kind of think about if you've been there and what you recall. Now, you can take it at a larger scale. We have talked about, and it's on our bucket list, is Utah. There are more
rock formations?
national parks in the state of Utah, I think, than in any other state. Maybe California is close.
We should.
But if you are planning a trip to Utah, especially a road trip, I know you've got arches and half a dozen other.
Look at the pictures of the rock formations that we've been seeing.
Yeah, and I mean the pictures are gorgeous, but people always say it's nothing like seeing it in person.
Can be. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And you go to California, you can go to the Redwoods National Forest. Right. You got Yosemite in Wyoming.
It's amazing what we have, and we forget about it. And I don't think that we take advantage. You and I, or Americans.
Yeah, but it's
and they don't teach it in school.
But if you get on a cruise ship, the cruise ships usually stop in ports where you have access to landmarks. If you get on a cruise ship in the Caribbean, most of them are going to go to Cancun or around so you can take a side trip to Tulum to see the Aztec buildings.
Right. Yes. Cruises will, but as far as anything in the United States, you have to take a train, a bus, a car.
Yeah.
That it's more difficult.
And it's also interesting that if you just Google, sites to see 100 miles from my home. You'd be surprised at
And
how
what,
much
yeah, it's true.
there is. Uh, you've got presidential libraries all over the country. Those are sites to see, landmarks. You've got phenomenal museums. Whether they're art museums or history type museums, veterans museums. Of course, the I think the epicenter for all of that is Washington D.C. You can spend a week or two in Washington
Yeah.
D.C. just visiting
Museum.
landmarks
Yeah, museums.
and
There must be a tour in the United States, several tours
I'm sure there are.
that you could take within the United States of just landmarks or landmark cities. We didn't look that up. We should look that up.
I'm sure, but then again, there are probably landmark tours by car, by train, by bus.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying tour buses.
Yeah, it's and you can always go online too as a start and say you're going to New England, and New England is probably the birthplace of a lot of the history that we have from Philadelphia, the site of the beginning of our country and the government and all, but landmarks that are up in New Hampshire and Vermont
that we don't know about, that we don't realize are there.
Yeah, but when we were in Maine and we went to Acadia National Park, I never knew about Arcadia, but because our cruise ship stopped in Bal Harbor, and we took the side trip up to Arcadia. Bar Harbor?
Bal Harbor is in Florida.
Bal Harbor, Florida, Bar Harbor, BC. Yeah, we have to get
you have to get your.
This is opposite Saxes, right? Yeah, but it's interesting just to sit and think. And sometimes talk about those landmarks that you have visited. And even though you may come up with a list, of 100, it's a drop in the bucket compared to what's out there. Every country on the globe has got some kind of landmarks that people say you must see that when you visit.
There's a place not far from here. I don't know if you've read about it. I have, and I've thought about taking our grandson there. And that is an area that you can still pan for gold. Yeah. It's not far. It's like an hour from us.
There's also a river supposedly it's just a wading type river that supposedly was that still has some fossils of dinosaurs, and they have documented that dinosaurs lived in this area at one time.
Yeah.
And you can go and see, fossilized prints in the bottom of this river.
Yeah, I've read about that.
And then sometimes they create those kinds of things too for people to see. But when you look at our history, you see events that have we mentioned Dealey Plaza.
Right.
Here in Dallas, I mean, people from all over the world, when they come to see Dallas, one of the things that they have to see is Dealey Plaza, the book depository where they have a museum documenting the day that Kennedy was shot, and all. It's absolutely fascinating.
It is fascinating.
But you can actually walk down to Dealey Plaza, and in the concrete is a marker of the exact spot where the convertible was when he was shot.
And that could be a dangerous area because people are all there. This is on a highway.
Yes.
And so people are
people want to run out there, get a selfie, get a picture. Yeah, and it's really a busy intersection.
Yeah, it is.
But if you time it right, when the light turns red, you see all these people run out in the street, get their pictures, and then run back.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be an accident there one of these days.
I'm surprised they have something more.
But Fort Worth has got the stockyards, and the remnants of the stockyards. Chicago used to, but I don't think that there's anything other than markers to where the stockyards were in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm not sure
I don't remember, but Chicago's got its own landmarks. What we call Comiskey Park, which is the
Right.
second generation of the original. But Wrigley Field is the original Wrigley Field. It is one of only two, I think, ballparks in the Major League Baseball that are the
They're still
originals.
there. Oh,
That one and Boston.
and then
Uh,
there's Soldiers Field for football,
Soldier Field for football, which they
which
have
is
upgraded, and it doesn't
a
look
little bit, but not that
as nice as it used to be because it
much.
was always because it looked like a Parthenon. It looked like an old Greek type building, or the original one. Then they built that what now looks like a flying saucer that they dropped in on top of it to create more seating. But
I forgot about that.
you know, and in Chicago, I mean, museums, you got the Field Museum, the planetarium.
Well, every city has their museums too. So
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, if from city to city, sometimes they are close enough that you can stay in one location and see a lot of
right.
Philadelphia is that way.
Is that what the stairs going
Fennel
up
Hall
where?
and a lot of places. There's a lot of history within a matter of a square mile. Boston is a great city.
Boston is a wonderful, and that's
It's a
walkable.
great walking city for a big city, or just take the metro.
Was that Philadelphia where they had the steps that Sly Stallone ran up?
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
yeah. In fact, and then they put in concrete, they
Yes.
put his steps.
Right.
And so when you go to Philadelphia, people want to run up the steps, get to the top of the steps, put their feet on the two things,
Right.
and put their arms up and do the dance.
Yeah.
But that's what landmarks are for, and the smart cities around the world promote those landmarks to help create tourism.
Yeah.
The running of the bulls in Pamplona, Spain. I mean, when people visit Spain, they only run the bulls once a year, but people want to just run down the street where the bulls run if they're there when it's not that particular time of year. Just like visiting the Indy 500 racetrack, even when it's not Memorial Weekend.
Doesn't Fort Worth have the walking of the bulls every day at 11 o'clock?
They have what they call the running of the Longhorns. Where they parade the Longhorn steers right down the main street through the stockyard area. And then you can go and you can sit on a Longhorn steer and get your picture taken. And I mean it's worth seeing.
It is. It's fun. You got to go once. Like I say about a lot of other cities, you got to go once to at least see it and experience it.
Yeah, there's lots of things to do around the country and milestones. And again, as I said, almost every major city has them, but also get off the beaten path.
Right.
We've talked about Route 66 that goes from Santa Monica Pier in California to downtown Chicago. Route 66, not every mile of it is.
Yeah, I can't say I'm enamored with the whole thing.
Well, from St. Louis, Missouri to west out to Santa Monica, it's broken up. There are certain cities that still have monuments to the old Route 66, but it parallels Highway 44. And so sometimes you're on the highway and it might have a sign to see historical marker ahead. And it's literally on the side of the road, and it says just a marker. There was a town here at one time.
I guess because everyone has talked it up so much, I expected that much more.
But if you travel the Route 66 and from Missouri to downtown Chicago, there is a lot more that's being preserved, like some of the old, drugstores and little diners and even motels and things like that are part of that history. So America doesn't preserve its history, I think, as much as Europe does. Yeah. We're 250 some years old here, but over there, when you go to the Vatican, which is centuries old.
We're all about new and bigger and beautiful and concrete.
And bigger is better.
Taller and Our thought process is a little different than Europe.
It's like our show. We want our show to be bigger and better. Yeah. But we're applying for landmark status.
I don't know what kind of landmark status, but
I'll tell you, if we get granted landmark status, then there's something wrong with the rule book in this country. But at least we hope that we are enough of a landmark that you'll come back and see us again next Thursday. Okay, come on, make it a good one.
See ya.
Bye.